Dooku crumples over in defeat when the secure radio next to him starts beeping. The next evening, Palpatine is addressing the War Council and is playing a holo message from Grand Moff Tarkin as the new leader of the Separatists with his offer of a peace treaty. Anakin is waiting outside since he's not a member of the Jedi Council, so he's not allowed in, since it's only like VIPs that are in the war room. As he waits outside, he inspects his new robotic hand as his mind turns to his battle with Maul. How quickly he was able to defeat Maul once he summoned the appropriate power. He had only ever felt that amount of power once before, back during the Battle of Alderaan, and although he has never admitted it to anyone, he can now admit it to himself. He liked it. Anakin feels a swell of shame build inside him as he admits this to himself. He's a Jedi, he's not supposed to enjoy power like that. But at the same time, look at what's resulted. When he embraced the power on Alderaan, he saved millions of lives. When he embraced it again, he defeated Maul, and now the Separatists are seeking peace. He may have just single-handedly ended the war and saved maybe even billions of lives. How could that be wrong? How could that be the dark side? The doors to the war room open and the attendees file out. Anakin spins eagerly to see them, and when he sees the look on Obi-Wan's face, his heart sinks. What happened? I'm sorry, Anakin. What happened? The Jedi Council rejected the offer of a peace treaty. It takes every fiber of self-control that Anakin can muster to not break out into an angry rant right there on the spot. You have to understand that the Council, Anakin turns and angrily stomps out of the Jedi Temple. Obi-Wan follows after him. Palpatine exits the war room and then follows Obi-Wan in tow. Obi-Wan calls after him. Anakin, wait! Wait! He ignores him and keeps walking. Anakin, stop! He stops. Palpatine steps up beside Obi-Wan. Let me talk to him. I'll try to settle him down. Of course, Chancellor. Palpatine gestures towards his space limo, and he and Anakin jump in. Obi-Wan watches as they fly away. I can't believe it. After all that, Windu is dead. I lost my hand. Obi-Wan was almost cut in half. My entire squad was killed back on Naboo. And now all of that means nothing? Anakin sinks back into his chair. Just tell me one thing. Did everyone else in the war room agree with the Jedi Council? Did the politicians and the generals also want to reject the peace treaty? Palpatine shakes his head. No, everyone else wanted to sign, but they blocked the proposal again. Yes. Like Obi-Wan said earlier, the Jedi Council are worried that if they make a ceasefire, that will create a pocket in the galaxy where the dark side can grow unchallenged and in the end come back maybe even stronger than it already is. So they want to push on until the dark side is completely removed from the galaxy. Also, and more importantly, they can sense that even though Maul has been captured and Dooku has been exposed as a traitor, the dark side is still as strong as it was before. In fact, it's even a little bit stronger. So this just makes them even more sure that they have to keep fighting and that they can't make a ceasefire. And they're right. The dark side is stronger than it was before, but what they don't know is it's because Palpatine is the real mastermind. See, this is the web of deception that Palpatine has carefully woven around everyone. Now you can say maybe if Yoda or Mace Windu could have been there, then perhaps they might have been able to see through this, but let's face it, probably not. You know, Anakin, this is our fault. What? It's our fault because we chose a half measure when we needed a full. It's clear to me now what needs to happen. We've removed all the obstacles to peace on the Separatist side. Now we need to remove the obstacles to peace on our side. What do you mean? We have to destroy the Jedi. Anakin shifts in his seat uncomfortably. I'm sorry, Chancellor, I don't think I heard you properly. Yes, you did. He leans forward. Search your feelings, my young friend. You know it to be true. We can never have peace as long as the Jedi Council keeps blocking any attempt to make it. No, the Jedi have been guardians of peace and justice for over 1,000 generations. And yet we face a war without end because of them. Whatever the Jedi were, that's not what they are now. We don't need Jedi to end this war. We need soldiers. And a soldier's first duty is to protect lives. So tell me, soldier, how will you protect life when this is built? He brings up the hologram of the Death Star. They're getting ready to build this right now. You remember, how are you going to protect the Republic from that? How? I don't know. We have a chance to end this war now before it comes to that. But once that chance is gone, it's gone. Anakin looks out the window of the car as if searching for an answer out there. Don't talk, just listen. Tomorrow is the funeral for Mace Windu. Every Jedi in the temple will be there, and every Jedi close enough to return for the funeral will be there too. And every single one of them will file past his body and place their lightsaber down beside his coffin as a sign of respect, as is the custom whenever a member of the Jedi Council dies. They won't let me or anyone else who's not a Jedi into the funeral hall, but they will let you in. He opens a case next to him and takes out what looks like Anakin's lightsaber. This is a replica of your Jedi weapon, but with one important difference. When triggered, it will overcharge and explode in a blast of saber energy that will in turn trigger all of the other lightsabers around it, which will create a chain reaction that will vaporize the entire funeral hall and everyone that's in it. He reaches over and puts the replica saber into Anakin's cloak for him. I could arrest you right now for this. Yes, you could, but I'm willing to do whatever needs to be done to protect the Republic. What happens to me doesn't matter. The limo slows to a stop. Palpatine points at the Death Star. Now, why don't you take a long, hard look at this hologram? Because the reality is, if we don't get peace, that will be the last thing that any of us see. Billions of lives are hanging in the balance, Anakin. Billions of people. People who will either live or die by what you decide to do tomorrow. Please make the right choice. Anakin exits the vehicle and hovers on the spot as the convoy departs behind him. Anakin begins to walk through the street. As clouds slowly gather overhead and rain begins to fall, Anakin doesn't even notice, because he has disappeared inside himself. As the words of the Chancellor flow through his mind, he continues walking, step by step, through the streets of Coruscant. The words of his friend and old master, Obi-Wan, flow through his mind, as do the words of Yoda and all of his Jedi tutors throughout his training. Faces start appearing. He sees the faces of every single trooper that has died under his command. He knew them all, every single one by name. Now they're all dead. Other faces begin to appear. Friends he has, people he has known, but mostly he sees Padme, one face that he definitely doesn't want added to the others that he will never see again. His feet drag to a stop. He looks up and finds himself right in the middle of a war memorial that remembers all of those who have been killed in the Clone Wars so far. It is gigantic. The memorial stretches on seemingly forever, and in that moment, he knows what he has to do. He knows what he has to be.